Now, when News First made inquiries regarding the progress of the investigations, the police said that no arrests have been made as yet.
The U.S. Trade Show 2012, organized by the American Chamber of Commerce, will be held in Colombo on the 16th of this month. The aim of the trade show is to promote business, trade and investment between Sri Lanka and the United States.
A media briefing was held in Colombo today to create awareness on the trade show, which is being organized in collaboration with the U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka. Over 350 leading Sri Lankan and American companies will participate in the trade show, which will also act as a window towards achieving the government's target of doubling Sri Lankan exports to the U.S. by 2014.
At a point where the US government and the Sri Lankan government are showing greater interest in developing trade and investment between the two countries, this seemed to be the best time to have this trade show in order to support the endeavors of improving trade and investment between the two countries.
Well, speaking of bilateral relations between the US and Sri Lanka, the new US ambassador to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Michelle Sisson, is due to present her credentials shortly. A veteran diplomat, the new ambassador hopes to identify opportunities and instances in which Sri Lanka and the United States could work together. The incoming ambassador outlined her plans in a special video posted on the internet.
Music is such a great way to connect, but so are people-to-people links. I have a strong interest in education and plan to visit every U.S. Embassy-funded English language program site in Sri Lanka. I also plan on making frequent visits to our American corner in Malé as well. I look forward to identifying new opportunities to work together in promoting trade, economic development, and business. I'm also a big believer in the power of civil society. I'm an avid scuba diver. That's one of the reasons I plan to work very hard to make sure that environmental protection and climate change adaptation are top priorities for our embassy. After previous assignments in South Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, I'm really looking forward to experiencing your rich history, culture, and diversity. I hope to see you all very, very soon.
The Noracholai power plant breaks down again. Attempts to recommence power generation fail. Repairs completed. The CEB says plant will be in operation by the 3rd of this month. The CEB says the power plant cannot be activated as planned. The Chinese company requests 2 more days to complete repair work. Is the Noracholai power plant a white elephant?
Time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
On a more somber note, the remains of the 2 children who were murdered in the Galpaya area in Pallebadda were handed over to their relatives today. The 2 children were siblings.
The class teacher of grade 6C at the Kulratna Central College in Kutakavala received some shocking news yesterday. She was momentarily stunned when we revealed that she will no longer be able to witness the innocent smile of Timuthu Lakshan. Tears welled in her eyes when we revealed this information to her. Ten-year-old Lakshan and his brother paid with their lives for the mistakes of their elders. Lakshan's brother Mahesh Ravishkar was 6 years old at the time of his untimely demise. The remains of these 2 brothers who shared their sorrow and joy were brought to their house today. The individual who carried out the gruesome double murder is in police custody, while the mother of the children who suffered injuries is receiving treatment in hospital. Meanwhile, investigations have been launched to track down a suspect connected to a murder in the Kalahogoda area in Minuwangoda. The victim, who had been assaulted, was found abandoned in a paddy field in the Kalahogoda area. According to the police, the victim had died as a result of a blow to the head with a blunt weapon. Reports of murder have now become commonplace. Over the past month alone, News First received numerous such reports. On the 2nd of August, a man was stabbed to death near the 8 Mile post in Siamalando. 7 days afterwards, a youth was murdered with the use of sharp weapons in the Dodanduwa area in Hikkadua. On the 10th, a murder was reported from the Navatteli area in Kolonna. A mother poisoned her 1.5-year-old child in Panavatta Yatiyantota on the 13th. A 6-year-old girl died on the 16th of August after being attacked by a 25-year-old wielding a mammoth. The entire country was stunned by a triple murder in Valavatta. A man murdered his mother, father and sister. A woman was shot dead in Melagamawadua on the 19th. On the same day, a 65-year-old man was killed following an assault in Valagama, Bandaragama. Reports of a murder at a home in Ratmalana came on the 23rd of August. Coroner was plunged into sadness when a 4-year-old girl and her father were shot dead on the 27th of last month. A man was shot dead in Kurukulawa Ragama on the 29th of August. A woman was stabbed to death in Kahavatta Ala Polanvatta in Kurunegala on the 30th of last month. On the very same day, foul play was suspected in the death of a boy whose body was found on University Lane off Castle Street. On the 4th of September, an individual was found dead in a paddy field in Kalahogoda. On the very same day, 2 children were murdered in the Pallebette area. The total number of murders reported in August and September so far stands at 17.
On to another headline-making story tonight. A group of businessmen carried out a demonstration in Colombo today in protest over the harassment of Sri Lankan pilgrims in Tamil Nadu. The demonstrators stated that they vehemently condemned the harassment of the Sri Lankan pilgrims.
The businessmen who shut down their business establishments began the demonstration at 12 noon today. The group, which gathered near the Golf-Face Green, expressed their displeasure towards several Tamil Nadu politicians, including M. Karunanidhi and Jayalalalitha Jayaram. We live in harmony in Colombo. Tamils live together with the Sinhalese and Muslims in Sri Lanka. We don't see difference amongst each other.
The recent attacks
We should condemn the incident that took place in Tamil Nadu. What we know is that people living there are against each other. This is a very small group of people. Later, the demonstrators marched to the Indian High Commission in Colombo to hand over a letter.
The incident in Tamil Nadu was the topic of much discussion at several media briefings today. A group that visited a Catholic church was attacked. What was important here was not whether they were Catholic or followers of another religion. They were attacked because they were Sinhalese from Sri Lanka. The Indian central government should take measure to prevent such attacks on Sri Lankans. We are very happy that the central government is focused on this, and several arrests have been made. Powerful parties in India such as the Communist Party, the Congress and the DMK publicly denounced this incident. However, we shouldn't focus on an isolated issue and act in a short-sighted manner.
Meanwhile, India's Janata Party President Subramaniam Swamy points out that Tamil Nadu should not interfere with the policy of the central government of India towards Sri Lanka. He also noted that the security of Sri Lankans in Tamil Nadu should be ensured.
Earlier on in the news, we told you that today marks the 66th anniversary of the United National Party and that the United National Party anniversary celebrations were held at the party headquarters, Sirikota. Now, following the conclusion of the event held to mark the 66th anniversary, a media briefing was held under the auspices of MP Lakshman Kiriyalla. Now, during this media briefing, journalists questioned as to why Deputy Leader Sajid Premadasa and Parliamentarian Karujaya Surya did not attend the event.
You need to ask them that question. I do not know why they did not attend. Do not raise such questions. How am I supposed to know why they did not attend?
Meanwhile, issuing a media release, parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa notes that he had got to know that a group of individuals have begun circulating a rumour that he and a group of parliamentarians had boycotted the event held to mark the 66th anniversary of the UNP at Srikota. Now, Premadasa states in his release that the truth is that he nor any other member of the party had carried out any act to sabotage the event. The deputy leader of the UNP points out that he was engaged in election campaigning at the village level and he returned home only at 4 a.m. this morning. He points out that although for some the election would end at 12 midnight on the 5th of September, it would not be so for him. The release also notes that the best gift that he can give the party on its 66th anniversary is the hard work that he put in for the upcoming election. The deputy leader of the UNP notes that he was not able to attend the anniversary celebrations due to these reasons and notes that he regrets not being able to attend the anniversary celebrations. You are watching Primetime News on MTV Sports. Now, our top story tonight was, of course, on the crisis in the universities, how the continuing trade union action of university teachers is continuing to disrupt academic activity in the universities. Now, it is not only higher education in the country which is in crisis. Tonight on Action TV, we take a look at an instance where the failure to uphold the fundamentals of good governance has led to a bad administration in 4 national schools.
Yesterday, Action TV brought to the attention of the Senior Minister for Good Governance and Infrastructure Development that for a period exceeding 3 months, the Ministry of Education had failed to implement the appointments of principals to 4 national schools made by the Public Service Commission in accordance with the fundamentals of good governance. As of yesterday, the Ministry of Education had taken some mind-boggling steps with regard to one of these appointees. The duly appointed principal to Vishaka Vidyalaya Bandaravela, who was prevented from entering the school itself, was allowed to come up to the school's entrance and place her signature, stating that she had reported for work. The duly appointed principal, who arrived in the morning and placed her signature and then whiled away her time at the adjacent bus stop until the final bell rang so she could sign herself out, did not receive the register today to place her signature and establish that she had reported to work. As the competent authority at the adjacent Bandaravela Zonal Education Office failed to resolve this issue, the duly appointed principal filed a complaint with the police. Meanwhile, the Ua Province Minister for Education had been attending an event at a nearby school at the same time. When Action TV questioned the provincial minister on why the order issued by the Public Services Commission appointing this principal was not being adhered to, he refrained from answering. Interviews for the 4 principals appointed for Visakha Vidyalaya Bandaravela, Vidyaloka Vidyalaya Gaul, Meepavala Amrasurya Vidyalaya and Vembadi Girls High School Jaffna took place in accordance with a program implemented by an official at the Sri Lanka Planning Service, who was the former secretary to the Ministry of Education, in order to enforce a correct administration procedure at these and other schools. Implementing the appointments made by the Public Service Commission on the basis of the results of the interviews is a responsibility of a special grade official at the Sri Lanka Administrative Service, who also happens to be the new secretary to the Ministry of Education.